say there are lots of people in this room, you've practiced tithing for years. And because of you, our church and people like you around Christianity, our church and other local churches exist to keep preaching the message of Jesus' love because you practice tithing. And I commend you for being a fully devoted, wholehearted follower of Jesus Christ. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you for doing what you do. Let's get some nuts and bolts in place because a lot of people struggle with this. Don't let this be a struggle for you. This shouldn't be a struggle for you. You know why? Because you know, and I know, we know, God has done so much for you. If He does nothing else, He's already done more than enough. He's already done more than enough. He doesn't have to prove anything more to you. He's done so much for you. So why struggle with this 10% thing? Don't look at 10%, just say a dime out of every dollar. Don't let a dime trip you up. A dime? You're going to get tripped up because of a dime? Dime. 10 cents? 10 cents tripping you up? Don't let 10 cents trip you up. It's too small to strip you up. Look at Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam takes a whole lot out of your paycheck. I still haven't seen you leave America. I haven't seen you. You're still here. You're still here. Where are you going to go? You're still here. You're still here. Where are you going? Dime. A tithe is God's tax for living. You say, God wants tax? Oh yeah. Look at what He loaned you. Breath, life, stuff. And He says, just so that you show me that you recognize that all that came from me, let me give you a tax. And so He says, every dollar you make, give me a dime. That's it. That's what a tithe is. A tithe, it is holy before the Lord. And some say, well, tithing is not for today. It was during the law. Don't you know the Bible? You're right in part that it was during the law. But it was also before the law. Before Moses even existed, Abraham existed, he tithed to Melchizedek. Jacob tithed 10%. He said it. Genesis 28, verse 20 and 22. He said, God, I'll give you 10% of everything. So before the law, tithing. During the law, tithing. What about Jesus? Jesus, He came, He said, I come not to abolish the law or the prophets, but to fulfill the law and the prophets. That's what He said in Matthew 5, verse 17. And so under the law, you tithe. Before the law, they tithe. After the law, under grace, in Matthew 23, verse 23, listen to what Jesus said. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites, He calls them. You give a tithe or a tenth of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. Here's the point. You should have practiced the latter, practiced mercy, practiced justice, practiced faithfulness without neglecting the former. Jesus supported tithing. So, before the law, tithing. During the law, tithing. Past the law, New Testament, Jesus supports it. In fact, if we use the logic, you say, okay, I don't know. Okay, under the law, there are certain things we're not to do. Thou shalt not commit murder. That's what the law says, is it not? But we're under grace. Murder whoever you want. Because if what you're saying is that law is done away with, then everything that's now post-law, you do whatever you have to do. Under the law, thou shalt not commit adultery. Or you're under grace. Fool around with whoever you want. Under the law, thou shalt not steal. We're under grace. Steal from whoever you want, whenever you want, however you want. Do you see how foolish it looks? I want you to see that before the law, during the law, following the law, people who served God decided to give God a portion, a proportional amount of their income, which we refer to as the tithe.